What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of King Darius Cooks. You came at a great time. Tonight we are doing pizza. Okay, so we're going to talk about how to do homemade dough, homemade tomato sauce, we're going to do a homemade Alfredo, and then we're going to wrap it all up together and show you what we got. Let's get to it. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna start with a half a cup of warm water, all right? And you want that in a measuring cup that supports about 2 cups of water. We're going to add 2 1/4 teaspoons of activated yeast. All right, this is super important. This is the agent that allows the dough to rise. All right, so we're gonna add that. We're gonna give it a little stir, stir, stir. And here's a pro tip, guys. If you add your yeast into the water and it does not start to bubble eventually, like within the first 5 minutes, that means the yeast is dead. That means your yeast isn't going to work. Okay, that means you need new yeast. So yeah, we're gonna give that a second. Another thing you can do too is boom, just hit it with a little bit of sugar, all right? Like a 1/4 teaspoon of sugar just to feed the yeast. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and let this sit for a minute. It's activating, it's coming to life. What we're gonna work on next is pulsing our 4 cups of flour together with some salt. All right, guys, now that we let this sit, next thing we need to do is we need to fill this with water all the way up to the 1 3/4 cup mark on your container. After we do that, we're gonna go ahead and add in our oil, and then we're gonna add it to our mixture. So let's go ahead and do that now. Okay, next thing up, let's go ahead and pulse this in with our flour and salt mixture. Okay, guys, so the next thing we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and flour our workspace. All right. Reason for this is it definitely makes working dough a whole lot easier. Okay, so the next step, once we have our dough kneaded, just go ahead and make it into a little ball or something like this. And then what you want to do is you want to take a container, any container, about this size with this much dough. Go ahead and oil the inside of it. You want to drop your freshly kneaded dough in there. And then we want to cover it. So we're going to cover this and let it rest for, I want to say 2 hours, 2.5 hours or so. And when we come back to this, we'll notice that it has completely risen. It's gonna look way different. Rubber band optional, guys. All right, so that's it. Let this sit. And by the time this is done, we'll be ready to go ahead and start rolling out pizza. Ladies and gentlemen, if you made it this far, It's time for the tomato sauce of eternity. The best tomato sauce that ever was or will be. The best on YouTube. Before we begin, let's go ahead and cover what we're going to need for the tomato sauce. Now keep in mind, you can half this recipe if you don't want a lot of leftover sauce. Let's get to it. Okay, so let's go ahead and get a quick look at everything that we're going to be using to make our tomato sauce. As we get into actually making the sauce, I'll call out one by one everything that we need as we go along. And keep in mind, our recipe and the ingredients will also be found in the description below. One stick of salted butter. 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. 2 bulbs of diced shallots. 1 teaspoon of minced garlic. 1 28-ounce can of tomato sauce. One 28-ounce diced tomato can, and please remember, do not drain. Also, guys, make sure your pan is hot enough so that when you pour the sauce in, it starts popping and it burns you. If it doesn't burn you, you're not doing it right. Just kidding. 1 10-ounce can of tomato paste. Alright, now for our dry seasoning mix. 1 tablespoon of adobo, 2 tablespoons of perfect pinch Italian seasoning, 1 teaspoon of coarse salt, 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, and 1 teaspoon of onion powder. In this part of the video, we're going to be working on a homemade Alfredo sauce for all my Alfredo pizza lovers out there. Here's what you need to do. Add 2 tablespoons of butter. 1 clove of minced garlic. 1 teaspoon of red pepper flakes. 1 tablespoon of all-purpose flour. 1 cup of heavy cream. As you stir and let it sit, you'll notice that the sauce will begin to bubble. That's fine, that just means that it's thickening. Keep moving the sauce, don't let it sit in one place for too long so that it doesn't burn. 1/4 cup of grated Parmesan.
That's not great though.
Lastly, salt and pepper to taste. And our Alfredo sauce is done. Okay, seems like we need our toppings and then we can get started. And keep in mind, these are the toppings that my family likes, but please feel free to go ahead and cut up whatever you guys like and try it out. So, because waiting stuff, we went ahead and made some of this up ahead of time so we can just keep it moving. This has gone through the same process as our other dough. This is rested for the 2-hour period. We're gonna go ahead and get started rolling this out. All right, guys, for this next part, we are going to be using parchment paper, all right? Not only are we gonna use this to help us roll the dough out, but when we put our dough in the oven, our pizza in the oven rather, it's going to be sitting on this parchment. So let's go ahead and flour our workspace again. This amount of dough makes either 2, I want to say extra large pizzas, or another thing we also do is personal pizzas sometimes. So you can cut it into 4 and then roll out 4 personal pizzas at a time. For tonight's video, we're going to make 2 large pizzas. What we're going to do is we're going to stretch it. Don't worry about any little gaps or holes. Just let gravity do the work. There, guys. Hold it by the very edges and it'll start stretching out by itself. Okay, so we're gonna hit this with a few more rolls here just to get it nice and straight. And I know some of you guys might be thinking or may even ask why I'm rolling it out so large. That's because if we're gonna do a pizza on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen, we're doing stuffed crust, 100%. So that's what's coming up next. Okay, so what we have here are mozzarella sticks. We'll use these to build our stuffed crust. The method that I prefer to use is to cut them in half, turn them sideways, cut them in half once more, so that they're perfect size for the pizza. The larger they are in the crust, the bigger the chance is that your crust will break and the cheese will leak onto the pizza. Once you have them prepped, we're gonna put them in one piece at a time and then roll the dough over top of them. After they're in, we're gonna press down on the dough to connect it to the main portion of the pizza. Keep doing that all the way around until you're done. Okay, next step, extra virgin olive oil. We'll bring that back out. We're gonna go ahead and oil our crust, all right? This is gonna help it keep from burning, because nobody likes burnt crust, especially when there's cheese on the inside. Let's go ahead and do this really quick. Alright, and then we're gonna break out our garlic powder again. And let's just get a light sprinkle on the crust. Not much, just very, very light. You get some on the inside of the pizza, it's a-okay. And we're done. Now it's time to sauce and top the pizza. Alright guys, finally it's time. My kitchen smells ridiculous. I'm waiting to eat this pizza, feels like forever. Freaking hungry, dude. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and take this pizza out of the oven, go ahead and get it sliced up and feed people. Here's what we got. Pizza's cut, looks good, smells good. If you are making this pizza with me and you smell what I smell, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell, and we're coming back at you with another one.